Hey, how's it going? And today I'm going to be showing you how to create a transparent border. You could also add on to this and create a video camera overlay to give the appearance that someone's recording a home movie. So if you want to create an effect of where you're wanting to show that someone's recording a documentary or making a home movie or filming video, you could use this overlay to emphasize that. It's kind of a fun effect. I'm going to show you how to create it as a template that you can save out and use whenever you need it. Then you only have to do this once is what I'm saying. So that's good, right? You only need to do this once. Now to get started on this, we're just going to go into Media Generator, and it doesn't matter which color you drag down because we're going to get rid of the color. Out of habit, I just grab black. And then what we do is we go into Video Effects here, and we're just going to go into Border, and we're going to drag that down on the timeline. Now I'm going to create two templates, one with a transparent border and then one with a fully opaque border. So the first thing you need to do when on the border is decide how thick you want it. So you could just slide this slider to do that, or you could just type in a number like 0.01, and that's a nice size border, I think, for what we're trying to do. Now the trick to this, if there is a trick, is we can click off this and go into our, I'll close this out so you know how to get there. If you come in here on your solid color and click on this icon, generated media, and then you click on the color itself, this is actually the alpha channel. So what we're going to do is we're just going to slide this down to 0. It's going to make the whole thing transparent. So you could actually create these templates in Photoshop, but I think you could actually do just as good a job in Vegas Pro, if not even better, I think. But I think it's a lot faster in Vegas Pro. So anyway, I'm going to click on the Project Media tab just so I can see what I'm doing over here. Now the first thing I want to do is save this image out. So this is the, let me double check, what is this? I click on here for effect, for my border. This is the fully opaque border. So I'm going to make one fully opaque. So I'm going to just go here and click save, and I'll just call this opaque and go save. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the opacity down here and create one that's a little bit more transparent in case I want one that's a little more transparent. And I'll just click save up here, save snapshot to file, and I'll just call this trans 1 and save that. So now I've got two. I've got one that's opaque and one that is transparent. Now the next step is I can delete this because I don't need this anymore. Now I'm going to drag this down to the timeline, the opaque one. Now it's black here, but it's actually transparent. So Vegas always has a black background. There's always two levels. There's the track level, and then there's a background level, which is always kind of black like that. But anyway, if we click on crop, pan event, we're just going to make sure we're on the, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to click and drag this out a little bit. And you'll see how that brings it in a little bit. So just pull that control and size it in however you like it. So if you're doing it for video, maybe it'd be like about like that or something like that. And what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and save this, and we're going to call this opaque 2 and save that one. Okay, and then I can get rid of this, and then I can go to the trans one here and drag it down to the timeline and do the same thing. Go into event pan crop and just pull on this and size it to however you want it. And once you get it to that size that you want, you just save out a snapshot of it, and we'll just call this trans final or something so you can keep them all straight. So actually now I can delete this. Now just to avoid future confusion, I could actually just delete this, and I could actually delete this and delete that just so that I don't get confused. So now I've got now if I get my image or my video and I drag it down to the timeline, if I hit Shift Control Q, I click down here and I hit Shift Control Q, I create another track, and now I can drag, let's just start with the trans final. If I drag it down on my timeline now, I've got the border. And as long as I just extend it the length of the video, however long I extend it, it'll cover the whole image. So I would just stretch this out on the timeline however long I wanted it to be on the screen. Now that looks almost kind of grayish rather than transparent, so you could play around with it, but that's your one border. Now if I come over here and I go to opaque and I drag this down onto the timeline, Now let's say I want to create that video recording effect, and that's pretty simple to do. So I'm going to add a couple more tracks. So I'm going to go Control Shift Q and Control Shift Q one more time. I'm going to create 2 tracks. Then I'm going to go into Media Generator. I'm going to go into Red. I'm going to drag this down to the timeline. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here to Pan Crop. And I'm just going to come over here, come down here to where it says masking and click that. And I'm just going to see this oval or elliptical creation tool, and I'm just going to hit Control and click and make a little circle like that, just like that. And what I really want to do, I need to get this image out of the way right now, because I'm just working on creating my video screen overlay. So what I would do, well, I guess I can leave it there for right now. Let me take that back. Actually, I just want to remember to move it. Then I go into Pan Crop again, and all I have to do, if I click over here, is when it gets to the 4-sided arrow, I can just click and drag this down to where I think the record button would be. So like right about there, maybe, something like that. And then what I can do is actually go into Effects, and I can go into Glow, and go Add, and go OK. And the glow percent, I just put that all up to 1 and this up to 20. And the glow color, I could have it be reddish. That, and that is that. And now all I need to do is just add some text. So I'll come in here to Legacy Text. I'll come over here, pull this down on the screen. And I don't know if I want Arial for this. I'm not sure what kind of font, but maybe Arial Narrow or something like that. And I'll just hit Control A, and I'll just type in record. And then of course I want to resize this, so I'll go to Properties and I'll scale this down quite a bit. Then I'll go to Placement and I'll just drag this over here like so. And then you can use the arrow keys. Usually that sometimes they give you a little bit finer control, but then sometimes you might just have to use your mouse a little bit to get it kind of in the spots you want it. If you hit Control, sometimes that also gives you a little bit of extra control. Oops. So let me I'm just trying to get that lined up a little bit better. Gosh, it's fighting me like there, I think that's good. Okay, and then that's basically it. Now if I take this out of the frame and I go Save, and I'll just call this Overlay and go Save. And now I can actually delete all this stuff because I don't need it anymore. And I can come over here and I've got this template that I can always just drag over on the top of my footage to create that kind of video effect. And of course you can play around with all these settings to get it the way that you want it. You can make things more transparent. You could add date and time down here if you want. You could use a different font or whatever you wanted to do. But it's just kind of a fun kind of thing. I always felt like it's almost like Photoshop in a way with all the functionality it has. Once you learn your way around it, you can actually create a lot of stuff in-house inside of Vegas. So it's worth learning it because you can do stuff in it faster than you could do in Photoshop. Like I said, you could do this in this overlay in Photoshop, but I don't think you could have done it as fast as we just did it. So unless you're maybe like a Photoshop master or something like that. I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment. And thanks so much for watching the videos. It really helps me out and it means a lot to me. So thanks a lot and have a great day.